Satsang with Maitreya, September 1st, 2001.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Satsang of the Mission of Maitreya, Eternal Divine Path. I hope we will have a very good Satsang today. And again, we talked about the Eternal Divine Path and God's revelations and how all the religions of the world is unified here. And being here is hearing the Word of God and His call again to humanity, come and become unified under one teaching that unifies all religions together as one again, and God is calling humanity, come to join us. And as usual, I'm going to go ahead and ask to see if anybody new in the audience that have not heard the Eternal Divine Path, so we can go through the path again together. So, if nobody new is here, then go ahead. If you have any questions, we can bring it up at this time. Of course, we have been answering questions for the last 20 some years, and I would not be surprised if not much of a question left. And also, it was a very interesting month, last month, from the previous satsangs, and we went through a lot of purification, which was very good, and a lot of things happened in the mission also, and everybody is aware of them, those who are connected to the mission and you know the events happening. So, as we act and reach out to the mission, we all will progress also. It's a purification happens more as we reach out and act and try to do the mission and then see ourselves in the process much better. So that goes very well with the teaching of the mission, that it's easy to go to the top of the mountain and meditate, and you say you're a great, yogi at the top of the mountain, but when you come to the city and somebody push you, suddenly you become angry about it. Why you push such a great yogi and all that, and suddenly see your impurity much better. When you are in action in the society, in the the process of being with the other people, as was very well again with the comings of light. The progress in comings of light is much more accelerated, and hopefully we have comings of light all over the world, and everybody in it progress and have more time to meditate and look at ourselves and say, wow, okay, I can get rid of this, I can get rid of that, and I can practice in this way and that way, and we all become greater beings. So again, being escapist, you may make the illusion of being great, but acting will purify us in a greater degree.
As we go through life, there are things that happen that we consider not good, stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
And instead of allowing them to make you fall and you just stay down, use those stumbling blocks to become more aware of yourself and what's going on in your life, to really face yourself so that they can become stepping stones. In other words, they make you go through life pure. That's what I would imagine is meant.
Okay, well, I can elaborate that if you have a problem in your life and if you don't face it, it becomes a stumbling block. Okay? And because you're not facing it, you don't know exactly why this problem is in your life. So, but if you face yourself and say, okay, I have this problem in my life, and it's really bothering me, and it's really, it's a blockage toward my spiritual progress, and this I avoid the situation. I go move from that situation to a new area, or I leave the city, go to another city. After a while, we have the same problem again, and I have created the same situation for myself. Okay, and that's the pattern we were talking about in the human life. A lot of people, if you really meditate, you will find that a pattern in the life that no matter where they go, it occurs the same thing over and over. I'm in a bad relationship, okay, and then I drop into this relationship, I fall into the same trap again and again. So there is something really in me, no matter that what I said, some people say, if I move from here somewhere else, I'm going to be okay. And they do, and then they're not okay. The same thing happened to them. So really, it's not the place, it's not the, where you live, but it is the baggage that we take it with us, and we go from one place to another, and then same thing with the same energy, with the same attitude, with the same problems. We create the same situation that we were in it before, and then we blame everybody else and everything else in the universe, including God, why He is not helping us, without we facing ourselves and meditating on it and say, oh look, no matter where I go, this pattern happens. Therefore, there's not something wrong with God or environment or other people, but it's something within myself that I have to look into it. And then when you do that, then you can, little by little, through your meditation, your concentration, your realization of self, you realize, oh yeah, this is the pattern that it happened when I was in another place. This is the pattern that happened 2 years ago. This is the pattern that happened 4 years ago. What is the pattern in my life that is happening over and over? Now, what is the problem? What is in me that creates this situation? Really, I am the creator. I am the person who creates these stumbling blocks. And if you realize what it is, okay, and as we said many times, there are creatures in humans just like what they call a psychological problem or subconscious mind or the karmic thing that you have picked up for many lifetimes, including this lifetime, and you created kind of a ways to deal with a different situation. Each person deals with the situation differently. Okay? As you react to the situation evolves, to what it will be. So, as you meditate and you see your subconscious mind, and as I said many times, these creatures can live only where? Only in darkness, in the crevices of your soul that you haven't shed any light in them, and you don't know even they exist. Okay? But as you meditate and you put light on them and you keep, actually it's not a very difficult thing, just see the pattern. It's happening. As you become more aware of the pattern, you become aware of those, unconscious or subconscious level that you are not aware of. Okay? As you put more light on it, these creatures can't live in the light. That's why meditation and self-realization is knowing God. Okay? So as you become more aware of these creatures or this subconscious, things, your stumbling block really dissolve themselves and go away and no longer exist, and you are freer, and you can go to any situation without creating the same pattern that you used to make. So in a way, it goes again with our teaching that you have to know yourself. You have to realize what's happening in your life. Go ahead.
Well, I wondered if that kind of related to Tantra Yoga, where maybe a stumbling block is a desire you have, and then you realize through it how actually it helps you progress spiritually or something like that. And also I can think of something in my life that seemed like a terrible stumbling block, the death of my sister, but yet it actually
help you.
Provoked me to search for higher truths.
All right. Okay, and also we have to sometimes be careful with there are a lot of beautiful words out there that we love to repeat and say them, but we really don't understand what it means. People who say them should be able to explain what they mean by what they say. It's pretty, it's beautiful, it's catchy, just like we are God, all gods, all right? You mean I created the universe? It sounds good, it's pretty, but really you have to think about it. I look at it as more self-realization and realizing what the stumbling block is and dissolve it and take it out of the way. Okay, so you can go farther ahead than how you can make it a stepping stone. Okay, now with the death of your sister, okay, it made her to become more seeking of what's the meaning of life. Why are we here? She was, I don't know, a couple of hours ago, and now she's suddenly gone. She's not there with us anymore. Actually, that's how death is. Some people, walk around and they're okay. 2 minutes later, they're not there anymore. What happened to them? What is the goal? That's why death is such a powerful instrument to make humans to start thinking, what is the goal of it? What's the meaning of life? Why are we here for? I'm such a big ego. I think I'm the best thing ever happened to the universe. But then I die, and I'm just no longer there. That's why many yogis they go to the cemeteries and they meditate in cemeteries. Just like Shiva used to go there and put a lot of skulls around himself and meditate on the meaning of death. What happened to these skulls? It's just a bone. It doesn't move. It doesn't have any ego. It doesn't have anything in it. What is it? What happened to it? So death is a great way of meditating. What's the end of my life? That's it. I came here, live, eat, sleep, make children, and that's the end of me. I'm going to die. But there's more to me. I'm not my body. I'm a greater thing. I'm soul. I've been here for a purpose, for a reason. I came here to what? To become divine. What's that mean? It means to overcome, know myself, to become a great instrument for greater purpose. And of course, some humans are born to just live, sleep, make children, eat, and die, and they never even question where they came from and where they're going. So the thing happen in your life that might help you toward, asking yourself these questions, why you are here and all that. But still, you are not self-realized. When, for example, it happened to your sister, you become a seeker, but you weren't completely there yet. You were seeking the questions of why she died and all that. But still, you have to go through the purification, meditation, self-realization, and eventually come to the mission, and you receive your answer and say, yeah, this something made sense, right? And then it makes sense, because still when you're in the mission, that doesn't mean completely you overcame all the stumbling block in your life. Okay. I'd like to hear somebody else, if they have an explanation also, what's that meant to make your stumbling block a stepping stone. I have a hard time to visualizing how a stumbling block becomes a stepping stone.
From what has been said, that when things happen in our life that we think are negative, we can look at them and see truth behind them. And also, if something terrible or shocking happens in our life, as with Sarah G. and her sister, it would cause us to move toward getting on the eternal
I was saying that is a phrase often used in New Age teachings. And what they're trying to do is make everything negative into something positive.
Positive thinking.
Yeah, but if something's negative, it's negative, and it needs to be dealt with. We need to put the light on it and to reveal it for what it is and to put it behind us. But if we keep saying everything is positive, then we're really denying our problems. And we're not dealing with them, we're not facing ourselves. So I think that's part of the New Age thinking that isn't going to go anywhere.
I guess I could clarify what I was trying to explain by trying to look at it that way. I think what was happening with me is like the focus would be brought back to God in that situation. So as soon as your focus is on God, then you're where you need to be. And it makes it, I think, how you talk about bringing in the light of God, then you're looking at it straight on and not avoiding it like we teach in our teaching.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, there is a poor person that wants to do something great. He has no financial ability to do what he wants. That's a stumbling block. How can he make that a stepping stone?
Right. I suppose what I'm saying maybe doesn't work for every situation. I was kind of sharing what I was doing in my situation.
No, I'm not asking only you, from everybody. Okay, it is a good word. That is what the New Agers, and this, the teaching that everything is okay, be a positive thinker, and then you are God's, and don't worry about it. God loves you, and all that. Don't listen to the scriptures or the prophets or things like that. You are your own God and make your own path and all that. All those things have a very beautiful wording in it and makes you feel good and all that. But when you come to the explanation and dissect them and go a little deeper into them, okay, I am God. Did I create the universe? Or I am in the image of God, that God created me in His image. Okay, that makes more sense. I'm His image, but I didn't create the universe. Okay, positive thinking, I'm poor and I have no ability to do that great task that I'm trying to do, and then say, okay, yeah, I make that positive thing and I think very positive about it. I'm not poor, I'm not poor. It's not going to help. You have to put some effort. You have to see, okay, how can I make this situation and solve the problem and come to the point that I can get the things should be done in my life done. So when people say beautiful words, okay, then you ask about it and go deeper to see what's that mean. Okay, the stumbling block, okay, means it's something in my way. Okay, of course, if you can put your feet over it and go over the stumbling block and pass over it and go to the next step, great. Then becoming the stepping, it really doesn't become a stepping stone, it becomes something that you got out of the way. Okay, you went over it. Okay. The stepping stone sound to me, I have a lot of stumbling block and I want to go to upstairs. So I take my stumbling block and make a stairs. Okay, I put the stumbling block over each other and become the stairs so I can go to the upstairs to go higher consciousness. That means using your stumbling block and the stepping stone to become kind of a stairs to go higher level, right? If you put your feet on the stumbling block to become this, all right? Well, I have a hard time to say how you can use a stumbling block and make it the stairs to go to the higher level, unless you take the stumbling block, look at it, realize it, why is it a stumbling block, take care of it, put it away, and you say, all right, I'm done with the stumbling block, what is next is the stumbling block, and you really get them out of the way instead of, using to go upstairs. So I think that's another one of those wording that sounds good, but when you really analyze it, you realize really the stumbling block is something you overcome, you dissolve it, you realize it by taking care of it. Unless somebody come up with the, tell me the question, a poor person wants to, buy a $500,000 home. How is he going to do it? With the stumbling block, making it a stepping stone.
Coming to the realization that happiness doesn't come by having money and going more spiritual. I don't know. Becoming more spiritual, going towards God, realizing that it's okay to have nothing material.
Okay, let's put it another way. Somebody wants to become a spiritual teacher, okay, but they have some, mental problem. Okay, their desire is there, but that's a stumbling block in their way. How are they going to be able to do that?
So it's really destroy the stumbling block.
Yeah, unless they have overcome or they have a lot of desires and attachment in the world. Unless they overcome, or somebody wants to become the greatest spiritual teacher, but still they have a lot of desires and attachments and all that. Unless they overcome those things, they cannot become completely a channel for God, because the purity is not there. Therefore, those things is gonna, make them not become a pure channel.
What about the Jewish people? They were given so much hardship in order to become pure.
But that's different. That's not the stumbling block. That is the process of purification, of going toward the hardship. Good.
This thing on stumbling blocks, and you're talking about putting them on top of one another and making stairs to go to higher consciousness. It reminds me very much of the Tower of Babel. They took their blocks and they built them up, and they said, we're going to go to God. And what happened to them? They got scattered all over throughout the world. You can't go to higher consciousness by putting under yourself your impurities and stepping on your impurities. That's not going to get you anywhere at all.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I think that's why I didn't understand it, was because part of it wasn't.
Yeah, there are a lot of beautiful words out there that's thrown away out around, and it sound makes sense and make you actually confused, and you think, wow, that was a pretty word, but really you don't understand what that means. Okay? It's something that we have to be very careful, actually, in our spiritual path, that pretty words sometimes can be actually a stumbling block. Your way, okay. That's a good question. Okay, there are pretty words, there are stumbling blocks. How can you make them the stepping stone?
Don't believe them.
So I don't believe them.
Analyze them.
So it was actually very helpful that Kirsha brought it up as a question. So again, it goes to we should question everything that we hear.
Exactly. You have to question yourself. You have to question other people teaching. You have to question even your own realization, and eventually you come up and realize that, eternal divine path and the communities of light and living in the community, seeing yourself in the community, and then overcoming those problems you have, and then you will be more free and free. Yeah, Kirsha?
And I think that's great. I think that's why I didn't understand the question. I was really struggling to understand it because I thought there was something there. It may be that at some point John could clarify for us what was in the email. Maybe we'll get a clearer picture of what was trying to be imparted.
Yeah, I wish John was here today. He has to take his grandmother for the hospital, and there was no one else to do that. We discussed it, and he had no choice. And Brad also, I think he's in the road and traveling, so probably doesn't have any access to the computer. I wish they were here and explaining to us what they meant. Yeah,
The other thing that came up at the chat room had to do with Maya and grace. And what was written in the chat room is Maya and grace are the same. And it talked, and then another statement said, ego uses grace. And these things didn't make any sense to me, so I called them. I said, what does that mean? I don't understand that. And then it was put in other words, and still even in these other words, it sounded like ego and grace are in the same category, and that that ego knows how to use grace. And to me, this makes no sense at all. I mean, if ego is using grace, we're in bad shape.
Well, that's how the religions start. That disciples and the people who hear the teachings start interpreting that according to what they understand from it. And they say something catches people, just like make your stumbling block, to the stepping stone. It's a beautiful, metaphor or thing that you can think about it and say, oh wow, that's good. I'm going to make my stumbling block to the stepping stones. And then, what does that mean? You struggle with it for the rest of your life, try to do that, and you never analyze it exactly what that means. So understanding the teaching completely, that's why it's so important understanding exactly what is grace. Okay? Can even grace manifest if there is ego? Okay? That is the question. The grace comes when you're completely channel of God, and you let God come through, and the Spirit come through. And actually ego is the umbrella that we all have at the top of our head, and we are trying, and the grace can't get to us because we have that umbrella over our head. Okay? And if everybody took the umbrella away, which means ego, that's the only thing I said God doesn't like in the universe, is ego. If ego means, anything that, blocks God's grace to come to us. So how can ego be the same as grace? So it's kind of but grace is the same energy that we use in the universe. And really grace is energy, is Rajaguna. Now if we use the Rajaguna for the worldly thing, okay, then that grace becomes worldly and bondage and karma, and prevent us from seeing that we are a part of God. We are a being here to become divine. That we can overcome those things that keep us from God and all that. Now, if we use the grace or use the energy for the higher thing, for the godly work, for godly things, then very energy become what? Become grace. It helps us to go toward godly thing. It is the same energy that become worldly, or is the same energy which become grace. Okay, just like grace is what? Is the female part of God, right? Okay. Eve fell. Okay. So the grace became what? Bondage. They were thrown out of the heaven. Before that, okay, the grace, which the same energy was in what? In heaven, and they didn't have to till the ground. They were happy. They were everything they needed, provided for them. But they misused the grace, okay. And that's what the metaphor in the Bible is. The female fell. Okay. The female is the energy of the Rajaguna, and that was the whole thing happened. Okay. So it's the same energy. You can use it for a greater purpose and become grace, or you can direct it to the worldly thing and spend your time and energy to, accumulate wealth and money and being wanting to bigger car, bigger house, bigger, worldly thing, and eventually you reach a point, you are completely a slave of the worldly thing, and you become a politician, and you have to, have two-face, and either want the world, especially if you are a person that you claim to be spiritual, at the same time you have a great desire for the worldly thing. Then you have to come what? You can become two-faced. You have to play games. Okay? You have to go to the world and become worldly and come to the spiritual, people and try to look spiritual. Okay? And just like the one Christ said, that the one that was humble and saying, "Oh God, I'm such a sinner. Please, forgive my sins and help me to live." And the other one was rich and was saying, "Hey, I'm not like that poor man over there. God, I'm great, and which one goes to heaven?" Okay. So you cannot have two masters. You're going to leave one and go to the other one. Why? Because it just doesn't go together. You're worldly, be worldly. Okay. Actually, you're worldly. I push you more. Go toward the world. Be satisfied with the world first, and when you're done with it, then you say, "I had enough of this world. I don't want to have nothing to do with it." Then become a spiritual. But in the context of life, you don't have to do that. You can have the minimum material thing and taking care of your physiological and safety needs. The rest is what? Sharing with each other. Okay? And when you share in the context of life, everybody has a physiological and safety need taken care of. What is left? The only thing left go toward God. Really, what do we need? We need only physiological and safety need. The rest is going toward God. But if each individual wants to, accumulate wealth for themselves, will it become a very self-centric thing, and you never can even make it, because the only way you can make it probably is if you have millions and billions of dollars and you can, afford to. Because even those people, they accumulate a lot of money for their retirement. If they become very sick, what happened to that money? Because that doesn't drain to the hospitals and doctor bills and all that. Okay, of course, hopefully in our system eventually medical care and education is going to be free for everyone. They wouldn't have to, pay all the money for income for that purposes. So we can see that we have to create the physiological and safety need for humanity. The next step is self-realization. Okay? So we have to look at ourselves, this one, are we worldly or are we spiritual? If you're spiritual, you have no choice but to come and join the community of life or create the community of life, so your physiological safety need taken care of, easily, and the rest is go toward God. Or if you're worldly, okay, go to the world. Okay, don't waste your time. Just try to become spiritual and stay in the middle and become lukewarm. That's what God said. I don't like lukewarm. Okay, if you're spiritual, become spiritual. If you're worldly, become worldly. Don't stay in the middle. Okay, that's the worst place to be, in the middle. The worldly people go there and become and put their effort into the world, and some of them are even happy where they are. Okay. Of course, nobody is happy unless they turn and go toward what they have been created for. But what they have been created for, they have been created to become divine. Okay. They have been created to become godly. Okay. So that is the decision we have to. If you are worldly, then you use the grace for what? What's grace? Grace is energy. I use my energy to accumulate wealth. Is that grace? Or that become what? Become bondage. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that become karma. They become attachments. They become desire. They become things that make us more and more, become bounded into the world. Okay, I'm spiritual. I go to the mountain and I try to completely forsake this world. Then become those yogis living in a mountain, and and suddenly you see a society falls apart. Like in India, there's so much disease, so much misery, so much, unhappiness there. Okay. Oh, that didn't work either. So what's going to work? You can see the communist of life going to work. That is the answer. Eternal divine path. Okay. Yes, you meditate, you awaken your spiritual forces, you try to realize yourself, overcome attachment desires, but where? In the communist of light, okay? With other people. And also other people are going to let you know what's wrong with you. After, maybe they're nice to you in the first 6 months or first year living with you, but if you continue, doing things in the community that, is destructive, eventually they're going to say, look, we tried for 6 months to be nice to you, but you have this problem, you have to take care of it. Okay? So, who is meditating? Not only you are meditating, but they are meditating also on you. So you're meditating the whole group together. Okay? So you would be able to help each other. This is not criticizing or seeing problem in another person. This is not attacking them. It's not making them feel miserable, but guiding them and pointing out their stumbling blocks. Okay? So they can take care of it and put it away and free, they can go ahead with their spiritual progress. So we can see forsaking the society, forgetting the world and going to the mountain didn't work. It leads to escapism. To become completely worldly and want to live all by yourself, each individual or family, that's not going to work either. As you said, many people work all their life and they put a lot of money for the retirement fund and all that, and then they get around 65, 70, 80, they get so many diseases or something, and suddenly all those money drains to nothingness, okay? And all the life they are spending all that time for nothing. But they come with their life, with a good diet, with a good everything that mission is given you, you won't be like that when you're 60, 70, 80 years old. And even then, when we create a society, the medical care and education should be provided for everyone. So, physiological and safety needs to be taken care of. What is there? Self-realization, having enough of the spiritual forces, directing your energy to articulation of the comings of life, sacrificing for it. Okay. Do those people that they spend all their life accumulating only wealth for themselves, are they sacrificing? They're not. So we can see again, the answer is the comings of life. The answer is our teachings, and the answer is to know where we are at, and how much are we putting our effort and energy to creating these communities of life for humanity, which is the answer to all the problems we have. And but the energy is the same. The grace is energy. You can use the energy for the higher thing. You can use it for egoistical thing. That energy is not ego. How we use it, how we direct it, I think, as I said, ego actually is an illusion. It really doesn't exist. It's an illusion of separation from God. Okay? That is really the definition of Maya. Maya is the illusion of being separated from God. Okay? So if we shatter that illusion, if we are realizing completely that God is always connected to us, because He knows that He's connected to us. He knows that He's one with us. It is us who we create this illusion that we feel that we are separated, we are alone, we are lonely, we are completely, nobody in the universe is connected to you. So that illusion is ego. Really, in a sense, ego really doesn't exist. Ego is just an illusion that we have. But this illusion is so real that humanity have a heart, and it's just like a wheel. That's what in some religion they call it wheel. It separates you from the reality.
Yes, Maitreya, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the Middle East. I know that that's where you came from, you were born, and I think you would have a real deep insight into what's going on there.
Yeah, well, if Jews and Muslims accept our teachings, they wouldn't have any problem, would they? And what part of the Middle East do you want me to talk about? Just between Jews and Muslims, or between Palestinians and Jews, or the whole Islamic concept and Jewish concept? Do you want to specify? That's a very broad question.
Well, I know that all the religions of the eternal life, divine path that you set out on the slide are there. You have the Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and Baha'i. And, you know, if you thought about what if you went there, what could you do to help that situation when the conflict is so bad? What does one do to help in a situation like that?
I cannot help anyone but those who are my disciples and those disciples who won't listen to me. You cannot help a person or people who do not want to listen. It is God. If you read the Old Testament, you see God many times come to them and tell them to do this and that, and they don't do it, and then they fall. But really, I can help Middle East. Actually, the way is given for Middle East how to bring the peace and unity. But we have to bring the awareness to the people in the Middle East of this new revelation and bring them to the realization there is only one God, that all the humanity are His children, that they have to share and get along. Okay. Jews have to get along with the Palestinians. Palestinians have to get along with the Jews. They have to create one humanity and live together peacefully. There are differences between cultures. They should be respected and accepted, and at the same time more mixed together and eventually come to a kind of a more balanced culture for everyone. So the differences would not be that great that exists now, and it is happening, and it will happen. So it is a slow process of education. It's a slow process of reaching this revelation to those people. That is why we need the spiritual teacher in the mission. We need the missionaries. We need the people who come and become the teachers and go to those places. Okay, we had one teacher just went to Florida. Okay, and he met two new people who received the revelation and know about the eternal divine path. So our job is to give this revelation to every souls on earth and to every human on earth. It is a website. Anytime anybody goes to the website and read the eternal divine path, we are done with them. But there are people not only they read the eternal divine path, but also they become attracted to it, and they say, yes, that makes sense, I want to do something about it. Come to our satsangs and tell me, Maitreya, I am interested to help. And then say, okay, what are your qualifications? What kind of talents you have? Then we have to use those talents to further this revelation to more humanity and more people on earth. And God has given us the ability to spread this message even in a greater degree than ever God provided for any revelation. So we have to reach a point that we can teach Jews that where they stand with God, where they are in the plan of God. We have to teach Muslims that they fall in the plan of God. We have to teach Christians that they fall in God's plan. And at the end, just like a temple, everybody can enter the temple from their own religion, but when they come to the center, where are they? They are in the eternal divine path. Okay? They have only one. There's only one religion for all humanity, and that is the eternal divine path. So that is why I am so insistent to attract the people. They want to come and join and dedicate their life and reach out to humanity. That is why I am insistent that to see a lot of teachers are created. I'm insistent to create the system that eventually we can create the paravipras that they can change the society from the top of the hierarchy and all that. But should I go to Middle East and yell at Jews and Muslims that you should come together? Do you think it's going to work?
I don't think so.
Exactly. It's what did they did? Did Christ didn't do that? He went and he tried to purify the religions and threw the money changer out of the temple. What did they do to him? They crucified him. And then they changed his teaching to whatever they wanted, and eventually, Paul comes and take over and says a lot of things that is not what Christ taught. Just even the people are in our mission, okay? They are wonderful people, they are great people, they are great souls, but still they sometimes misunderstand my teachings, and they say something that is not completely what I said. That's why, even the teachers in the mission usually send me the answers to the questions, and sometimes they realize that I correct them, and they say, yeah, I didn't see that before. They're considered, they're wonderful beings, they're people that they love the mission, they know the teaching, they want to preach it in the most purified way, but still they don't see it exactly something that it should be. So I used to come every week here and give answer to question, and why I come here every month to answer the question, to hopefully eventually mission is going to come in a very purified way, the way it should be to humanity, and we have probably around 200 CDs now that it has all the sad songs from the last 20 years, that at least the last 4 years that we have. So the answer to how we can help the Middle East is we need more teachers, we need more outreach, we need more communities of light. We have to create the communities of light. We have implemented the eternal divine path in these communities. We have to create many of them. So eventually the word reaches to the Middle East. Okay, a lot of Jewish people become interested in the eternal divine path, and then they are no longer Jew, are they? A lot of Muslims become interested in the eternal divine path. They no longer are Muslims; they are the friends of the Jews who are in the eternal divine path. A lot of Christians will come to the eternal divine path. Okay, they're no longer Christian. Who are they? They are divines. Okay, then they wouldn't be against the Muslim or Jews or anybody like that. So the whole question is bringing all of them in the center of the temple, where they are one in that center. Okay, that's why you can keep your religion. You can stay Christian, but after you came to the mission for a while and you learn the eternal divine path, are you longer Christian anymore? If you really realize and believe that God sent all these religions, you can say, I'm not a Muslim. Yeah, I was born in the Middle East, but am I a Muslim anymore? No, I'm a divine. I'm an eternal divine path. Okay, that's why Kiosha has a Jewish background. I have a Muslim background. Are we in each other's throat? No. We help each other. We live in the same household. Is she a Jew anymore? I don't think so. She is a divine. Okay. So we can see that that's how we can help Christian, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, Baha'is, all of them. They can come to the center of the temple and become one. But they have to realize this is the fulfillment of the prophecies that God has given to them. They have to realize it is God's revelation. Okay? They have to be taught, and they should be
brought to this realization that this is the last revelation they have to listen to. If we can get this, that's why it's so important, all the things in the mission to be accepted as a package. Okay? And then you saw that, you no longer can say, I can stay in my religion. Because your religion was a previous revelation, it lost its place anymore. Okay? But not with the sword, not with the destructive, way, but with the education, with the understanding, with teaching, with the example. If we can create a lot of communities of light, and Jews and Muslims and Hindus and Buddhists can live in it together peacefully, will world see that? You see, the world will say, oh, they are living peacefully and harmonically, in a very harmony. So it's possible to bring peace. It's possible to have coexistence. It's possible to share. Why Muslim and Jews can't share? It's just a land, okay. Just forget about who's a Muslim, who's a Jew. Just let's say who's a better person, who's not. Just live together and share. I know it is easy said than done, but that is what God says He's going to do. He's going to bring His kingdom on earth. That's a promise. His kingdom come. But how is His kingdom come? With the eternal divine path, with the creation of the commonwealth of life, with the education, with the realization that every religion in the past is a part of a greater revelation, which is the mission and the present in humanity. So Middle East also is such a terrible thing happening there. If you cannot help the situation, in a way, right now, you have to think for a long run. Okay? And that situation is not going to be resolved until we create the conditions of life in those areas. Until we convert at least 10 to 15% of those people to the eternal divine path. So to answer the question, how we can help them, we can't. Right now we cannot help them. What we can do is to reach to the mission, to create more teachers, to create communities of light, and hopefully eventually someday we can help them.
Actually, I heard on the radio one time about a group, and I'm sure there's more than one, and I did hear that there were more than one in this radio program, of Jewish people who were inviting Muslims to their schools so that the Jewish people and the Jewish kids and the Muslim kids could learn about each other and get along. So they realized that that's the way to solve the problem, by integrating, understanding each other's culture and getting together. So it's not just us that feel this way. There's many other people too.
That's true. That's actually, since the mission have come to earth, the unity, at least to try to unify each other, to try to become nice to one another, to accept each other's cultures and all that has even reached in a higher level. They are trying, but those things, especially when the Jewish person goes to, actually what happened, one of the Palestinian who was close to this Jewish youth get killed. Okay, and all these Jewish youth were very sorry because they know him and they know he was a very good person. So it created a very, very situation that even they were sympathizing with what happened. Okay, but still, when they go to each other, that group is Muslim and this group is the Jew. Okay, and it's never gonna overcome that bridge between themselves. Okay, I have a good Jewish person that was my friend when I was in Iran. There's a lot of Jewish people live in Iran, and not a lot, but there are some communities, and they're pretty integrated into the society. And we were very good friends. And then he went to Israel, and then the next time he came back, we couldn't connect anymore. it was completely different. It was changed. We were together we grew together, we went to school together and all that. So there is a lot of propaganda, there's a brainwashing happening in both groups. That you know what happened. The hero of one society become terrorist of the other one, and they create heroes, and they put the other society down under. So no matter how much they try, the whole society should change their attitude. The whole society have to realize that we are all humans. We have the same problem, we have the same, things, and we have to realize there's one earth, one humanity, one God. If we realize that, there is no Jew or Hindus or Buddhists, but all are here to become divine. Okay, that is the goal of the life. There's no one, higher, lower, or something. God loves everybody. How can God loves not everybody? Because everybody is God. Okay, a part of God. It's creation. Can you not like your finger but like your leg? No, it doesn't work. It's a part of your body. If your finger hurts, doesn't matter. It's the same as if your toe hurts. It still hurts. It's the same body. It's a part of God. So humanity have to realize all these things. Okay, if they realize that, accept the mission and become divine, then do we have Jews, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists? No. All of us are humans here, struggling to become divine. Here's the resources we have. We have to share it with each other, and even reach to the space and find even more resources. That the standard of living of everybody come to a point that we don't need, being each other throat. But as Gandhi said, there's not enough for everybody's greed, but for everybody's need. So again, sharing, community of light, creation of the, community of light, and eternal divine path, unification of the religion, teaching humanity, reaching out, creating, missionary, educating humanity that they are not Muslim, Hindus, Buddhists. God is not man or woman. God is both. This political and the wording, the thing is created, on earth that it separates, just like, no, God is man, no, God is woman. Okay, so the man and woman try to separate each other. Some people, believe in God, says some people in God. God is both of them, and neither. God is beyond a political, movement or, trying to create separation. This all separation has been created by human, right? We can say some separation was created because there was different religions on earth, and God sent these religions to each group or people. Okay. But that's no longer. With understanding the mission, you no longer can be a Muslim. Probably I know more about Quran and Islam than what most of the Muslims know. Or you can't be a Jew anymore. Okay? Probably, Kyosha knows about Judaism more in the mission than any Jews ever could know. Or a Christian. You guys Christian here, you know about the reason for Christ coming here, for the number of 3. Do the Christian know all those things? What was really the reason Christ came? That his mission was threefold, and he accomplished all of them. So you see, you know more about Christianity than most Christian. So we can see that coming to the mission, realizing this thing, studying them, becoming more familiar with all the religions of the world, and seeing how the mission gives you even more than any of the people in those groups, make you realize, wow, I already know more than anybody else on earth. Then you can teach other people. Make them realize what God has done. Okay? He sent all those reasons separately, and each of them have a message. When you put all those messages together, you see the eternal divine path. Okay? So this is really the salvation for the Middle East. Not only salvation for the Middle East, it's salvation for Irish and English in England. Is it a Catholic or Protestant? Neither. Okay? Eternal divine path. The divine. They have to, if they become divine, are they going to be the same Protestant and Catholic? Yeah, we can't stay anymore. Just that separation. We can see that the way is given, okay, to bring peace and the kingdom on earth. But who's going to do it? I am giving it to you, so you can give it to someone else. If I can get 12, 15 people, and those 12, 15 people get 12, 15 people, and that 12, 15 people get 12, 15 people, it only takes 7 levels to reach the whole humanity. It doesn't take that long. It doesn't. It's just like a pyramid scam some people use. You know, that's the same thing. It's not really a big deal. It's very easy. If we get 100 people in the mission, if I can reach 100 people deeply, that you really realize what the teaching was and what this revelation is, and each of those 100 people, you know, reach 100 people, how much is that? 10,000? And that 100 people, each reach 100 people, that's going to be how much? It's going to be around 1 million. And that million each reach 100 people, that's 100 million. 100 million reach 100 people, it's going to be 10 billion. Oh, they reached the humanity, all humanity. That's it. You're not even 10 billion, you're around what, 6, 7 billion? So you see, it's not hard to do. But you who are called for have to purify yourself. You're still stuck in a real thing in life. Okay? You're stuck in things that you think I should solve it for you. As I said, I can't help anybody unless you are my disciple and you are humble enough to listen what I teach you. Otherwise, even I can't help my disciples if you're not humble enough to listen. God cannot help you if you don't want to listen. That's why you meditate. You meditate to do what? Listen to God. If you're meditating and thinking of what I did last night, you're not listening to God, are we? If you're closing the eyes, oh, how am I going to help my, people or family, you're not listening to God. That brings me to the topic of the parents. The parents are responsible to teach this thing that I teach you to your children. Okay? Children really are a captive audience. Okay? And parents have a lot of influence and power over them to teach this thing while they are growing up. Of course, you have to follow it first yourself before you can teach them. You can't teach somebody that if you don't follow what you teach. You become a preacher without following your own teaching. Okay? If you teach and you don't follow, of course they're not going to listen to you and not follow. So what was he saying? He's saying something and doing something else? It's not going to work. You have to do it and teach. Then your children are going to listen. But you are, God gave those children to you. They didn't give it to me. I have my own child to take care of. They give it to you. You are the one God designated to take care of the child. So you have to tell them about the teaching the God's way. You are responsible. Don't bring it to drop it in my lap. They're my children, they're your children. I already give you what's the truth about them. I already told them what is right and wrong. You are in this mission. I gave you what is right and wrong. You tell them what is right and wrong. And follow it yourself. And stay firm. And say that is the way it should be. If it's not the way it should be, then, I can't be your parent. I'm not going to be as nice as I was, or I am. Okay. So we can see that this is the first level that revelation came through. You guys are the second level. You have a great. My responsibility was to give this to you. Your responsibility is to give whoever you can, to whatever ability or outlet you reach or you can reach to. I connect you to God. You have to bring them and connect them to the mission and God also. So you can see, coming to the sad song is just not hearing and feeling good and having a good week or a good month. It brings a great responsibility to you also. Okay? That, do you want to solve a problem in the Middle East? Talk to more people. Reach to them. Convert them to become divine. The more divine they have, the less Christian, Muslim, Hindus, Buddhists we will have. Okay? So, I cannot help Middle East right now. The way is given to, if tomorrow Yasser Arafat and Sharon come to me and become divine, I solve the problem. If they become my disciple tomorrow, the problem of the Middle East is resolved. Because I can't tell them what to do. But if I go right now and want to tell them what to do, would they listen to me? No. So we can see subjective approach with objective adjustment. That's the part of the mission. Subjective approach means we are approaching toward bringing the kingdom of heaven on earth. Objective adjustment, we have adjusted ourselves to where we are. Another thing, you can arm yourself and force people to accept eternal divine path. Just like Muslim. Okay. Muslim, for a while, they had the sword, they put the sword in your head, either you're going to become Muslim or your head is going to chop off. Do we have all the Muslims know Quran and what Muhammad taught and God sent to them? I was born in a Muslim country. No. Actually, I rejected God when I was a child because I was asking them, show me God, I'll believe you. But the angry God sitting up there somewhere and always, with his sword, at the top of my head, I couldn't just, even envision such a God existed. Of course, now I know God is everywhere, everything. It's not up there, sitting somewhere, separate from us. But Muslims are not. Islam is different than Muslim. Judaism is different than Jews. Christianity is different than Christians. Okay? And so we can see that, that didn't work either, with the sword at the top of their head. What is what? Education, realization, teaching in a deeper level to everyone to realize what's the goal of life, what's the eternal divine path, how the religions are unified. There is a God. A lot of people, 99% even of the people who say they are religious, they don't really believe God exists. Or at least have an experience with it. But if God said He's going to send these religions, if He said He's going to send all these teachers, if He said He's going to fulfill our prophecies, and He did it, does He exist? Therefore, God truly do exist. Okay? And that is the consciousness, and He is everywhere and everything. And there is nothing that is not Him. So all this teaching, but we need people that have been called, that's why we're looking for elects. Okay? God for the people that have been selected, elected, called for, to come and help this mission to spread, and eventually to Middle East. And that's how I'm helping Middle East, with bringing this teaching to humanity. That's how we are helping, Africa. That's how we are helping South America. That's how we are helping, Europe, United States, everybody. But people have to be taught, be reached to realize you have to build a temple. If you build a temple and people in the Middle East and other people hear about it, and just even for the tourists, as the tourists come and see such a wonderful place it is, they can go through their own door of religion, and in the middle they are all one. What do you think that's going to bring to them? It's one humanity, one God, one earth. That's why we are helping humanity. But this thing has to be done. Go ahead, Tyra.
Thank you. The question is on logic and compassion. Can logic overcome compassion, or compassion overcome logic?
Okay.
How can you relate to both of them working together?
Okay. Okay, the question is explanation of compassion and logic and how they can work together. Okay, let's first define them. Probably the best way is, what is compassion? What does that mean, compassion? Anybody can define compassion?
I think compassion would be God guiding His whole universe to the highest good for everything in it. That's
What's the difference between compassion and love? Have you ever heard anybody says unconditional compassion? Have you heard unconditional love? So what's the difference? Why love can be unconditional, but compassion cannot? Have you ever heard about tough love? So it's unconditional love, there's love, and there's tough love. What's the difference between them? Is unconditional love tough love? No. Have to explain.
Right, doesn't tough love be love without attachment?
What does that mean by compassionate love? You either have compassion or you have love. Can you have compassionate love? See, there's a great difference between compassion and love. And a lot of people make a mistake between them. You fall in love, but you don't fall in compassion, do you? Have you ever seen, said, I just fall in compassion? Or these two people falling in compassion with each other. You can't hear that. So this is completely two different things. Love and compassion. Love can be conditional. I love you, you do this for me. Love can be unconditional. Usually parents have a kind of unconditional love for their kids. And a lot of people talk about having an unconditional love for one another. But usually there is conditions in love. Okay. And there's compassion. You might have a compassion over a desolated child in Africa, but you're not in love with them. So, compassion really means, especially when it relates to the compassion of God, means corrective feeling for humanity. So, actually what Kyosha said is pretty close to what compassionate means. It means that God is trying to compassionately, He has compassion for humanity. Of course, God also loves humanity. Okay. But His love doesn't mean that He's gonna not correct you. His love doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want to. As I say, I still love you. I still love you, but I have a tough love for you. Okay. You have to progress. You have to see yourself squarely. That's what the compassion of God is, because He knows if you do that, you're going to be free. You're going to be more godly by seeing yourself. Know thyself to know God. That's what God wants you to do. Now, if he says, I love you so much that if you don't even see yourself, and if you do not progress, still I'm going to love you, God doesn't have compassion for you then. Because He's not correcting you. He's not guiding you. Why does He have to send the prophets if He had unconditional love? You can do whatever you want, humanity. I still love you unconditionally. I'm not going to send the scriptures. I'm not going to send prophets. I'm not going to try to guide you. Do whatever you want, and it still cannot love you. No, it doesn't. What does it do? The distraction sometimes. He has to destroy some part of the universe in order to create a new one. Oh, I have unconditional love. I can't destroy this part of the universe. I love my body unconditionally. I have a couple of tumors all over my body. I love my body so much that I'm not going to cut those tumors out because my love is unconditional. I can do nothing to do with those tumors. But I love my body, but I'm going to have a tough love toward my body. In order to cure it, I have to get those tumors out. I have a compassionate feeling on that poor child that is starving in Africa. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to try first feed him. Okay. That's become the goal of my life, and then become a missionary or a social worker, or dedicate myself to some kind of cause and go there and feed that child or children there. Okay, I feed them so much. They have food for a couple of days, or a month, or 2 months, or 3 months. I leave, or the resources are dried out, and the kids go back to starvation again. Or I put my effort in creation of the communities of light and create the kingdom of heaven on earth, distribute the resources in a more equal way, even reach to the space and bring more resources to the earth, and then I can help millions of kids that won't be starving. So, right now, it seems so cruel not to reach to that kid. I'm not saying don't reach to it. Probably a lot of people are. What is the greater purpose to do in the long run? Which one is more compassionate? Okay, I have a compassionate, I feed the kid, and he become a criminal. I have compassion, but would I go ahead and start correcting him not to become a criminal, teaching him to stay, good person, helpful to the society. I have compassion with him, but I will correct him if it's not going wrong. So look at your definition of God's love, of compassion. If you call God loves me, so I don't have to look at myself. God loves me, therefore I don't see the tumor in my body, but God's going to heal me. I'm not going to go to the doctor and tell him to take those tumors out. God's going to take care of the tumors. It's just like that man, the flood came, and then he went at the top of his house, and a boat came and told him, let's go, let's go. He said, no, don't worry. I trust in God. He's going to take care of me. Later on, a helicopter came and said, come on, we're here to rescue you. And he said, no, that's okay. I trust in God. Now, water came, he eventually got drowned and went to heaven or whatever. And asked God, why did you help me? He said, well, didn't you see the boats and the helicopter? That is the logic of the God. The compassion was sending the boat, sending the helicopter. The logic is to seek God's help coming to you. If you're sitting there and say, well, God loves me, He's going to take care of me, but I have all these problems and these tumors and all these things in my life and my body, and I'm not going to look at them because I trust in God, you don't know the compassion of God. Maybe Maitreya was sent by God to tell you, hey, there's a tumor in your life. Look at it. Take it to the doctor, take it out. But you just hold on it and say, no, I'm not going to look at my tumor, because God is compassionate. And compassion means I can do whatever I want to. I don't progress. I drop my problem in somebody else's lap. I'm not going to look at him because I'm attached to the world, because I have so much desires and attachments, and I follow a philosophy that fits my situation. Therefore, it's okay the way I am, and I'm not going to look at the problem. Then, of course, your definition of compassion and love and all that's going to be different than my definition of love and compassion. Therefore, we have to come to the same conclusion, unless you don't believe in the definition of love and compassion that I just gave. You believe the definition is different. So, some people never gonna look at themselves squarely. Actually, it's very, very scary thing if you really look at yourself squarely. Okay? Some people are at least 75 years old. They're still chasing the dreams of the 16 years old, people. Because they never knew themselves to bring their life in a godly way. So, compassion means corrective love. Compassion means a feeling of being sorry, really. But compassion only comes when somebody else is in trouble, isn't it? You can have compassion on a person who doesn't need any help. Again, you might have somebody who doesn't need any help, but how can you have a compassion on a person who doesn't need anything? Can you have a compassion over somebody? No. Compassion on someone who is in pure consciousness. Have such a compassion over a person who has such a pure consciousness. Can you have a compassion? You have to be happy for that person that he or she is in pure consciousness. You cannot have a compassion over them. You can love a person who is in pure consciousness, but you don't have compassion over them because they are in trouble. Compassion really is when we create a feeling on somebody who is in trouble. Why that person is in trouble? How can we help them? We have compassion over them because they have some problem to be resolved. Can we solve them for them? Yeah, if it's a food, we can give them food. But if we can teach them how to grow food and have their food, is even better, isn't it? We have a compassion over a person who has problem in their life. Can we help them? How can we help them best? To point that out to them where the problems are, so they can resolve the problem in their life. But if they don't want to listen to you, can you help them? You cannot help anyone who does not want to listen. That's a law. That's the law in the universe. As I said, I cannot help anyone but those who are my disciples and are willing to listen. Period. Even if you're disciples and you are not willing to listen, I cannot help you. But if you're a disciple and you are willing to listen, I can help you. I have compassion on you. I love to help you. I feel your pain. I feel your struggle. I feel your, tumor. But if you don't let me get it out, if you don't go to the doctor, if you don't let him to get the knife and cut you up and get that tumor out, you are not going to get healed. You say, oh, I'm going to keep my tumor in my body, but doctor, heal me. He says, I can't, because you don't let me, get the tumor out. How can I help you? Same thing. If you don't let me even listen, what I tell you, you resist it, you fight it, you juggle it, you politicalize it, try to play game with it, go around it, whatever human does not to see themselves. I cannot help you. I have compassion on you. I can see your pain. I'm very sorry for the pain you're going through. But let me cut you open. Let me get my knife and open you up so I can get that tumor out. If you don't let me, sorry, doctor is helpless. You have to let God come through. God to you. Listen to Him. Compassion means I like to help you. That's really mean, isn't it? Doesn't it? I have compassion over that child that's starving because I really want to help her. But if you go and she said, no, I'm not going to accept your help, can you help her? Can't. So the first thing you come with accepting and willingness and wanting to be helped. Otherwise, God cannot help you. God loves you. God has compassion on you, but He has sent the scripture. He has sent the prophet. He has sent the way for your happiness. He has taught you to meditate, know thyself. Get rid of the tumor. Look at yourself squarely. There are a lot of creatures in your every human. There is a psychological thing in the subconscious mind that make us unhappy. We have to look at them. We have to see how we react in every situation and how we create the situations that bring us all to the same place again and again and again. If you don't want to do it, nobody else can do it for you. God can give you the guidance, show the way, but you are the one to walk. Alright everyone, it was nice being with you. Have a wonderful, good, godly month. And hopefully again, these words become the bread of life for you and keep you. And maybe God come through all of us. Amen. Sorry.